Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitutes a quorum.
He's coming. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Pastor Darius Johnston from Christ Church, Assembly of God, Fort Worth, Texas. So, welcome, sir. Thank you for coming out. Everyone will please remain standing after the invocation for our pledges.
Thank you, sir. Shall we bow? Heavenly Father, you instruct us that we are to pray for those who are in authority. And so this day we pause to do that. We ask that you may grant them wisdom, that you may grant them understanding, and that you may grant them discernment over the issues that are in front of them. And that as you bless them and as you use them, this community shall be blessed and enriched because of their decisions. We thank you for their willingness to serve, and we speak blessings over them and over these proceedings today. In your name, amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have 3 announcements for you this morning, actually 4. As it relates to the agenda, all 3 of these are under the Administrator section. Item A1, we're going to ask that we hold that for a week. Item A2, we have a new court communication in your red folder. I believe we've already entered it into the electronic file also. We'll discuss that when we get to that particular piece. Then also A3, which is an exception to the travel policy, we're going to ask that we hold that for a future date. And finally, members of the court, I just want to remind the various members of the court who are on the PEBC board, we do have a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Council of Governments. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the court, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of February the 16th.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Proclamations. We have a proclamation, Commissioner Johnson.
I think that's one just to read into the record, if you would, Your Honor.
Okay. Severe Weather Awareness Week. Whereas each year brings the potential for violent weather to Texas when large portions of our state, including Tarrant County, could be devastated by flooding, tornadoes, hail, windstorms, and other emergencies. And whereas the Governor's Division of Emergency Management, the National Weather Service, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency have joined together in urging all citizens to prepare for severe weather events and to educate themselves on safety strategies. And whereas Governor Rick Perry has declared the week of February 21st through 27th, 2010, as Severe Weather Awareness Week in Texas, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim February 21st through 27th, 2010, as Severe Weather Awareness Week in Tarrant County. And furthermore, we urge everyone in our community to learn more about and to participate in severe weather preparedness activities available in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 23rd day of February 2010.
I move its approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have one additional item this morning. That is A2, We're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve an amendment to the interlocal agreement between Tarrant County and the Texas Department of Transportation for the continuation of the Mobility Assistance Patrol, which is operated by the Sheriff's Office. Just a quick comment, we are still in negotiations with TxDOT in order to do an extended interlocal agreement. What this does is simply allows us to extend the current one for 3 months through the end of May.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You said through the end of May. You really mean begin, I think, through May 1st?
Actually, the new court communication that we put together is May 31st.
It is May 31st.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the revision. All right. Thank you very much. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Tidwell? Nope. Doesn't look like Ms. Tidwell.
She'll be here in a moment, though. But I have the pleasure of presenting the quarterly investment report for the quarter ended December 31st, 2009, and ask that it be received and filed.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Snyder? Good morning.
Risk Management Board has recommended payment claim to George Evans in the amount listed on your agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn? Nope, go ahead. This is just, I'm really getting it here today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's just the new order of things. Your Honor, members of the court, we ask that the court approve the agreed judgment in this case for the amount of $22,650, and that is the amount of the Special Commissioner's Award, and authorize the county judge to sign the same.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Now, Ms. Glenn. Want to check and make sure it
Move
wasn't
to
Ms. Worthy.
receive and file personnel agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We have just one additional item for the court this morning. We're asking the court to approve the group dental insurance application with Delta Dental Insurance Company. This agreement or this application is effective January of 2010, and it's a 5-year agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Brewer?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have one item for your approval this morning. This is interim financing for fiscal year 2010 for the Ryan White HIV/AIDS Treatment Modernization Act Part A, and all of our other interim funding has been received to date.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Lou. Mr. Beecham? Nope. Golly, you guys are just tearing me up here.
I'm going to go back home.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have one item for your consideration today. Bid number 2010-035. It's an annual contract for carpet tile, and miscellaneous floor services and supplies. Recommended vendors Gomez floor covering per unit price. We're also recommending that the award received from retail commercial specialty flooring be rejected for not submitting the addendum.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff?
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. Hate
Good
to
morning, Sheriff.
derail this fast-moving train, but I do want to
Oh, good.
take a minute and talk to you about our annual requirement to report numbers to you on racial profiling. You know, there are many times in my career that I stand here in front of you and tell you how proud I am of the organization. I don't know that I'm ever prouder of the organization when I look back over the years that we've seen these numbers and continue to see these numbers. If you look at the the contacts for the year, though the numbers are down slightly for contacts due to, as I've told you many times during the budget cycle, we're busier in the county than we've ever been, and we don't have quite as much time for discretionary work as we'd like, but the numbers are slightly down. But we made more than 21,000 contacts, violator contacts, over the 2009 year, and statistically we continue to show that every one of those people that are stopped are treated equally, and that is very important to us to be sure that people of all races and nationalities and from every socioeconomic background are treated the same. And if you'll follow along and look at those numbers, I think you will see that the department does a tremendous job. In that, it's not by accident. We are diligent in our training. We're diligent in monitoring our stops and our profiling activities to be sure that is the case. So from the very first line of supervision all the way through my command staff, they look very diligently at that, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. And as leaders of the county, I think you should be proud of those numbers, as I am proud of those numbers as well. And I am very glad to see that our diligence has paid off and continues. And let me say, for another year, unbelievably, out of 21,000 contacts, we didn't have one single complaint, anyone complaining that we engaged in any type of racial profiling. So very, very gratified for that. With that, I will take any questions or comments and request that you receive and file the report.
Sheriff, as in previous years, I commend you for your leadership on this issue, for making it a priority with your men and women. I continue to be pleased with the numbers as well, and I think the citizens of Tarrant County are well served.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Is this a receive and file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the work.
Thank you, Dave. Any appointments, court members?
Yes, I have an appointment to the Northern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District. Mr. Randall Jean Randy Cozart. Move approval.
Second. I
He
may
will
have
be
one.
replacing Victor Henderson.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
And I may have one after closed. I've got a couple of people I need to.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Maynes?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have one item yet to brief you on very quickly. It's a report on the H1N1, and Ms. Brewer is going to do this. I will tell you that this is going to be the last time that you will see this on the briefing agenda. The numbers have diminished substantially, and so we decided that at the end of February, which is this last meeting, that after this meeting, this report will cease on a weekly
Ms. Brewer,
basis.
before you do that, let me go ahead and see if we can pass claims. Just
So
so
moved.
everybody will be happy, and we. Everybody out there's kind of panicking. They're thinking we're not going to get paid this week, so we better go ahead and do that. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
She wasn't worried. She was
Motion.
cool and collected.
Motion, second. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Do you need me to repeat everything that I?
No, you're all right. I don't need to hear anything else from you. I'm sure I'll catch it later on.
All right, thank you. We're finishing up our ISD events, and we have now scheduled events at the 4 Tarrant County Community College sites. We have one this week, February 26th, at the Trinity River campus, March 1st at the South Campus, March 8th at the Southeast Campus, and March 10th at the Northeast Campus. I think many of you heard last week that the World Health Organization had announced that they were advocating for H1N1 to be incorporated in next year's seasonal flu vaccine. We're awaiting the official recommendations from the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which is Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Committee. That has always been the final word on immunizations in this country, and they're meeting tomorrow and Thursday. So I'm sure you'll be seeing that in the media as well after the meeting on Thursday. And that will tell us for sure what to expect in next year's seasonal flu mix. Recall that that's always a mix based on, now we're participating in the Sentinel reporting as to what we're seeing out in the community and across the nation. That goes right to the Centers for Disease Control, and then they make the decision based on what strains of flu they're seeing late in the season from the previous year, and that helps inform them as to what needs to be in the mix for the next year. So that's what's happening right now. I will just mention again that we do have our Facebook up and running, and we are getting some interest from that, and we'll keep putting articles of interest and information of interest on our Facebook and on our website. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Just one for me. Are we to assume from the inclusion of H1N1, the possible inclusion of H1N1 into the seasonal vaccine mix, that the H1N1 inoculation is only good for 1 year?
I went back and did some research on that, and we haven't found anything in writing yet. So we're waiting for that announcement on Thursday to come out. The strains of flu historically, and we don't have enough experience yet with H1N1 to know what it's going to do, but historically the A's and the B's, which are usually in the seasonal flu mix, the strain changes over the course of time, and so it's a slightly different combination from year to year. So that's why we recommend to the at-risk groups particularly that they get the flu vaccine every year. So what the recommendation is on H1N1, I'd rather wait until the committee comes out with their recommendation to say, if that helps you any today.
It doesn't really, but I still like an answer to that question, because we have no evidence that the H1N1 virus has mutated. And if we have vaccinated against it this year, there is every reason to conclude that that vaccination is good for some period of time.
I understand what you're saying. You know, what the messaging is going to be important next year, because if indeed they do include H1N1 in the seasonal flu next year, we want to make sure that people get their seasonal flu vaccine regardless of what happened this year, because it will be protecting them for other.
It would be protecting for H1N1 plus whatever else is out there.
Yes. Yes.
We will make sure that we keep that on the radar. Commissioner, as soon as we find out, we'll bring you that answer in court.
Thank you.
And with that, I would think there would be recommendations about whether, if it's going to be included in seasonal, whether or not it's going to be a separate, we've all been speculating that it won't be separate, that there wouldn't be two different vaccines given, and I'm sure that recommendation would come out as well.
It would probably be simpler if it's all included in one, then you don't have to worry about the efficacy.
Right. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, I think you want to revisit the nomination.
Yes, I think it's the same board that Commissioner Brooks just pointed to, that water.
The Northern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District.
That's the one that Dick Elkins was serving on. Dick, for family reasons, had to resign. I would like to appoint William J. Flippo.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And I have a public announcement that I want to make.
Go right ahead.
The Tarrant County Junior Livestock Show that I have been beating everybody over the head with to collect money was very successful Saturday. You know, when you collect $5 and $10 from people like GK and Tom Wilder, it's hard to get up to the point, but we actually bought $75,100 worth of projects from those kids.
And I might,
If that is all that you have to pay, $5, I am paid up for at least 20 years.
and I might add that each year that organization gives out what they, a Distinguished Service Award. And this year, not only did they give that award to Commissioner Johnson, but they also permanently renamed the award after Commissioner Johnson for all of the hard work and for all of the effort that he's put into that.
Commissioner, where's my pig I bought?
Well, I sold it back. It brought like $60.
When you sold it back? What did I pay for it?
But I put the money, you paid $800 for it. But I put the $60 back in and kept buying.
Okay.
Yeah, that 60 probably bought a couple of chickens, or
No.
no.
Well, those chickens go for
Chickens were selling $400-500 a pen.
Oh, my goodness.
We appreciate very much all your effort in that regard.
Well, I enjoyed working with those kids. It's fantastic, and see the smiles on their faces. It's worth the effort.
And I guess the thing that, I know you're trying to say something, GK, but we're not going to let you. You're not going to get recognized. I think the thing to say that is real important to say in this deal is that Commissioner Johnson basically spreads that over and makes sure that every kid throughout this county, throughout the county, not just in Precinct 4, not just in Precinct 3 or any place else, throughout the county, gets credit and gets something for all of the hard work that they put into it up for the year. And we appreciate that very much because, again, I think his whole goal is to make sure nobody walks away feeling disappointed or feeling like their work wasn't appreciated. And I can guarantee you the smiles on those faces Saturday, it's, I was just there for a brief period of time, and I know that's what he's out there working for, nothing else. So we thank you again very much for everything you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Yes, if we could return to the claims.
We did vote on that.
No, we did not.
Well, we'll go back and look at the tape, but I'll bet you we did. But anyway, is there any other discussion about the claims? They're now passed unanimously. We'll go back and look at the tape. Duff, you better put that in there if it's not in there.
Your Honor, that's all we have this morning.
The Commissioners' Court will now recess the open session and proceed to close. Today in memory of Mary Rose. Let me get Mary Rose's last name. I'm not sure what.
Who?
A return from closed session, and there being no business at this time. We're then going to adjourn. We're going to adjourn in Mary Rose's name, Jane's sister who passed away Saturday night.
Don't have a clue what that's about.
We're adjourned.
All right.
We're adjourned.